So this is Ray of RebelEars.com. I'm here with Henry with the 3.
What up?
So tell a little information about like your background, being a producer / engineer.
For sure. About 7 years ago, I was in college for business marketing, and that's kind of like a major you choose when you don't know what you want to do, which is my case exactly. Yeah. And I met my guy, Justin Padron, producing and engineering at the time, and the timing was just perfect because he happened to need a roommate, and I was super interested in what he was doing. So I moved in with him and basically watched him and helped him and studied him every day until I was up and running on my own. And fast forward to today, I got my own little home studio set up, and I've been engineering, producing for a living now for about 5 years or so.
Yeah. And I remember, back in 882 days, I was watching you doing sessions with Justin, Trinidad James, when he made his Don't Be Safe mixtape that came out, had all gold, everything on it. That was a classic. Doing a lot with Taylor, Justin Padron, Mike Villo, working with different producers. What are some other producers that you work with other than Taylor? And put that social media, let everybody know how they can get in touch with them, just in case if they want to work with more producers.
For sure, yeah. I would say Taylor is the main one. I met him at that same time, and we haven't really stopped since then. At H3NRY's 1. I'd say I probably have just as many beats with Taylor as I have by myself. I mean, I have a couple I need to work on right now, now that you bring it up. Okay. But like some newer people, I'm open to I like collabing with people that have kind of a different sound from me, because it always creates something kind of different. Me and Taylor have been working together a long time, so our sounds are kind of similar, but it's fun when you can introduce someone else, maybe not even a beat maker, maybe a guitar player, or a saxophone player, something of that nature. Yeah. To kind of take your sound and combine it with someone else's sound, and you're creating a new sound. That always comes out cool.
Yeah, it helps you to, just build a connection, work with more people, and just see where it can go. So name one artist, one producer, and one engineer, and the reason why.
Okay. I'd love to work with Mike Dean, engineer, producer, just because I love what he's doing. I feel like I get along with him pretty well. We could talk about a lot of stuff, and obviously I love his work and everything he's done. I want to do kind of stuff somewhat similar to how he's doing it, doing some live shows with Travis and all that. That'd be a lot of fun. I'm a big fan of DaBaby right now. Love to get a song with him. I know he's hot right now. I think he's got a good sound. He could stick around longer than a lot of these one-hit wonder kind of guys. Producers, man, there's so many good producers. I love to work with large scale. Timbaland is fantastic. I love Rick Rubin, and then even some little guys coming up. I like Ronnie J. Has some crazy. I love how he makes beats on his laptop speakers, and he just goes by what sounds cool to him. And that reminds me not to be too technical sometimes and just focus on what sounds good.
Yeah, that's true. You don't want to put too much into your production or even your mix, because the thing is, it gets oversaturated. You might use something wrong. So let me ask you this. What was the last song you listened to that was on the radio or any streaming network you're using?
That's a great question, because it's funny when you start working on music all the time. At least for me, I listen to the radio less and less. I'm listening to my own music. Yeah. I'll listen to the radio to make sure I hear how songs sound sonically. Yeah. So I'm kind of mixing them similar, and they don't stand out too much. They kind of fit on a radio kind of platform. But now when I listen to music, I'm trying to switch it up, really listen to different stuff. I've been listening to a lot of classical stuff, some lo-fi stuff, just to get a fresh ear. Really, even podcasts and non-music stuff.
Yeah, just have material, content out, and see where it goes.
Yeah.
Who inspired you?
That's a good question. My parents, for sure. I mean, they started off with no money, and they made a pretty good living, working for themselves. And I always thought that was cool. So when I saw this opportunity to kind of do something for me and not have a boss, I kind of gravitated toward that. And I think you can kind of control how much or how little you work, and it's all on you. And the successes and the fails are all going to be on you. And I like kind of being in control and taking it wherever I want to take it,
Yeah. Totally. So let me ask you this. Name a session that just like one of the best ones you have.
That is a good one. That is a really good one. It's been a lot. That is tough. For any reason, like just won't forget something goofy happened, or
yeah, it could be just one of those stories. Be like, this is one of those moments. Can't forget.
Okay, I'll never forget one session I had with an artist I work really close with named Alex Austin.
Oh yeah, I remember.
We came in with he had a few songs he knew he wanted to do, and he had some people, some collaborators, some people that are under also his independent label that he was working with at the time, and we recorded the songs, and they were dope, and everyone was liking them. But and then we had like 20, 30 minutes left in the session, and he had me cook up a quick beat just with no type of guidelines, and we started just throwing something together, and we came out with one of the best songs, in my opinion, that me and him have done together, and everyone wanted to get on it, and I can't say too much about it now because it will be coming out.
Oh, it's not even out yet.
But it's funny how I'll never forget just the last 20 minutes and how that beautiful magic moment can happen anytime. You just got to keep your head down and make it happen. Just keep grinding.
Stay consistent.
Shit happens how it's supposed to,
Yeah. You got to network, stay consistent, grow with people, because what happened, a lot of people feel comfortable where they're at, but they're stagnant. And what happened is they miss out on opportunities from going to music events, networking on social media, DMing different producers or artists you want to work with.
Being comfortable is not the move at all. As soon as you feel comfortable, it's time to start trying something else.
Yeah, you got to, because, a lot of people feel comfortable, and around the time you feel comfortable, that's when, everything falls down, because you're not putting out content, you're not calling nobody, you're not making time to get involved with people's ideas. It's a lot that goes into it.
It is. I definitely agree.
So what's a ritual you have that you do every session you have, you feel like?
A ritual? Yeah. It's a good one. Before I dive into any artists, I like to listen to some other stuff, maybe play some older records and kind of set the tone. Let me think of something better though. That's not like every session. I definitely like to have like little mental resets too. Like if we've been going for, hours into a session, you can get kind of cloudy and your brain can start thinking in different ways. You start hearing music differently. I like to get up and walk around, and I actually have a pool table here, so one of my favorite little resets is I'll just play a quick game of pool for like 5-10 minutes and get back into it better. It's funny, the guys that make South Park, Trey Parker and Matt Stone, I remember they had a documentary about making South Park, and they do something similar when they've been just coming up with ideas, bashing their heads against the wall for a long time. They'll go in their offices and do Legos, because they say it's good to have like a different part of their brain. They have something telling them what to do instead of them calling the shots. Yeah, kind of similar to that.
Okay. Also, a personal tip to help others that you believe.
A personal tip to help others?
Yeah.
Anybody, or like producers, or?
Okay, so a personal tip that helps you to stay focused during the session. It could be mixing, producing, whatever.
Staying focused, okay. Well, it's kind of the same thing. Like, definitely resetting every once in a while is good. I think communication is important. I think a lot of producers, engineers, artists might work too long on something that maybe they're just not feeling. I think you have to be okay, like, moving on to something instead of just trying to make something work. If it's not working, I think there's no shame in starting from scratch. I think communicating and make sure everyone's on board, make sure everyone likes what we're working on, so you maximize your time. I think that's very important. Yeah. So, favorite compressor and why? Yeah, that's a good one. I'll say first that lately I've been digging into, not like getting into like name brand kind of stuff. I do have a ton of plugins, but
oh yeah, of course.
When you really know the fundamentals, I'm getting into the fundamentals, and these programs we're using are so good these days. It's like the stock plugins on most of these can really get the job done a lot of times. But compressors, depending on the job, I got this Slate microphone, and it comes
it's the VMS.
A bundle of Slate plugins. I've been using the Slate compressors on vocals, UAD, everything they make is gold. I like their SSL emulator for master compression. If you know what you want to hear, you can, and you know the fundamentals, you can make it happen.
That's true. So you're talking about the G compressor with the SSL?
Yeah, G is pretty fire. Just get that needle moving a little bit. It kind of like squeezes the whole thing together a little bit sometimes. It just sounds very good. What's
a dream mic for you that you feel like you're gonna like? What's that final mic you want?
I would say, man, if I had all the money in the world, a mic wouldn't even be the first thing that I went to. I have this Slate digital mic that emulates all the top mics really well.
Yeah.
And I love it. And it's $1,000, and they gave me 4 years to pay it off with no interest. And I feel like I'll use this for a while, but, you know, if I really had all the money in the world, and I know there's artists that like their own kind of mics, they have their favorites.
Yeah.
So, you know, if I had to buy a U87 or a C800 or something like that in the future, you know, and I had the money, then I would. But microphone's not on the top of my list. Again, like, the gear these days is good. You can get a good sound with regular sounding stuff. I would hate to think that gear is holding anybody back.
Yeah. So what would you call the perfect vocal chain as of right now? Because I know it can change day by day, session to session, but what's like your go-to vocal chain?
Yeah, and it should change. That's another thing about not being comfortable, you know. And again, of course, it depends on what the artist likes to hear. But
yeah,
me personally, I mean, I can tell you by default, when anyone steps into my vocal booth, they got a little Slate compressor on there, usually a faster attack to catch like the transients, doing like whatever 2 to 5 dBs compression. Small little EQ, but now some low end mud, and maybe a very quiet kind of quarter, half note delay. And a little pinch of reverb, I think, is enough to make any artist feel confident, you know, and sound like they're in a studio, which is what's most important at the end of the day, is the artist has to be vibing and feel good.
Of course, if they don't like the session, then they're going to like, you know, I don't know if I'm going to come here again. The quicker you work, the more key commands, you know. When you're efficient, people are going to keep constantly coming back.
Yeah, I mean, I've always preached a vibe. If the artist isn't comfortable, then you can have a $2 million studio. If they don't feel good in it, they're not going to sound good in it, you know?
Yeah. 3 more things. When you are producing, what is your signature sound? Because I know you produce and mix, so I'm trying to figure out the blend that you have. What is your go-to?
That's a good question, and I think signature sounds are important.
Yeah.
Just as much as I think it's important to vary up your sound, try different things. But I was a drummer before I started doing music like on the computer. So I've always been pretty big on drums. If my drums aren't hitting, you know, I'm probably a little uncomfortable with it. So I'd say like a bouncy drum line is very important. I'm pretty open melodically. You know, I made a beat yesterday with some Indonesian bells that I'd never heard before, but it's still got my bounce to it. So I definitely have an Atlanta drum kind of sound. I know how to make them hit pretty hard in phone speakers and laptop speakers. So I would say if I had any kind of signature, it would probably be hard hitting drums.
Okay. What was your last mix?
Last mix, produced and mixed a song for my homegirl Lauren K, and she features a rapper I work with a lot, Frank Mason. And I think I saw she just submitted it to TeamCore today too, so that'll be out soon. A cool kind of like, it's a vibey track. She sings on it, but I still have my bounce in it. So it's got elements of different kind of sound. And again, collaboration. When you put stuff together and come up with a new thing to create stuff. Pharrell said something about that, like peanut butter and chocolate are amazing separately.
Yeah.
But, you know, someone thought to put them together, and now you have Reese's.
That's true. That's true. You got to take a chance. So,
yeah.
One thing I want to do with you and I, we're going to create an ebook, okay? What would it be? Like compression, EQ, drums, mix, production, mastering? Like, what would be your first ebook? We're going to create it.
It's a good question. I do a lot of the engineering because I love it, and it pays the bills. But I'd love to focus on production if possible. If I were to create something like that, teach fundamentals, you know.
Matter of fact, we should.
I'd love to give out kits.
Let's do that.
Give out some drum kits.
Okay, so we're gonna make a drum kit together. Like, we'll sit down. We're gonna give it out. We're gonna create some drum kits that you're gonna sell. We're gonna sell. But the ebook, so it would be something dealing with production, right? Your first ebook?
I would probably be more into it that way.
Okay. In the book, would it be like, okay, it would be stuff that deals with Logic, right?
Or we could cover fundamental stuff that could, you know, work across the board. Or we could target, you know, people that work in Logic and do that too. Because there's a lot of people that produce in Logic. You could go either way, I guess.
And one more thing I want to get from you, a template. A Henry with the 3 template for mixing and producing. It could be like something simple that just be like, it'll have your drum kits in there already set up in the template.
Yeah, something to just get people up and running.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes.
I like it.
So, name 5 people you feel like everybody should start following and get to know.
Okay. Well, for content, I mean, Gary Vee is at the top. I mean, he just gets it. He's the guy when it comes to content.
Yes, he is.
I'm constantly consuming everything he puts out. Adam Ivy is the guy that I've been studying a lot lately. People have called him the Gary Vee of music.
Yeah, business marketing,
he's got a lot of great ideas.
Yes, he does. I learned a lot from, IG, different things when it comes to stories. YouTube, that's next.
Yep. Yeah, he's great on YouTube. He does usually at least a video a week, and I gain value from pretty much all of them.
Got to.
He's very good. I like Cymatics. I like what Cymatics is doing. There's a couple guys from Atlanta that started a sample kind of company that they sell sample packs, and they're doing a lot more than that now. I think they're doing social media and content the right way.
Yeah. Having that network event, I was there. Izzy was there. Shout out to Izzy. He was there, and it was funny because everybody is there to network, right? But in my opinion, when you go to an event, the first person you want to meet is the guy who's over the event, either the owner of the building or who's ever hosting the event. Like, you can meet everybody there. It's cool, get number, get business card, get email, get social media, all that. But in the end, the purpose for you to go to an event is so you can already know what's the next event they're going to have. So you can be consistent on them seeing you face to face. They like, oh man, I saw you last time. Right. And then, it builds from there.
And these are guys that have obviously, gotten to a point where they can put on these events. And I think that's a point where a lot of us want to be. So you obviously want to watch the people that, are closer to where you want to be to learn how to get there, right?
Yeah. Shouts out to Cymatics too. Steven Cymatics, Drew Cymatics. They got the Cymatics show. Leah Culver was on there too.
She was. Everyone should follow her too. Leah Culver Music. Fantastically talented artist I work with. Puts on shows that put everyone else's shows to shame.
Yeah.
And it's sad.
Yeah, especially at Imagine Festival this year. Shout out Midnight Panda, Eddie Gold, Scott Freeze. I know they killed it with the Six Feathers. They had their own stage at Imagine Festival. Yeah. But I want to thank you, Henry, for, taking the time for us to talk about some ideas, what you like, what we going to expect from you.
Anything for you, man. I met you when I was getting started in this, and you've been the most genuine person since then. So, all of this guy, this is the guy.
Yeah. So go ahead and tell everybody your social media, how they can get in touch with you, your website, all that. Go ahead and give them all the information.
Yep. At Henry with a 3. That's H3NRY with a 3. Everywhere but Twitter, someone took my name and it's deactivated, and contacted them and they won't let me have it yet. So still working on that. HenryWith3.com. Can't remember that. I also got heartbeats.net. That's my beat store. It's kind of where I'm trying to push a lot of traffic these days. And YouTube, Henry with a 3. I do beat videos. Apple Music, Henry with a 3. Because the E was taken.
The E was taken?
The E was already taken, man. I had to figure something else out. I'll keep everyone updated with everything on Instagram for sure. I'm doing giveaways. I'm going to be doing drum packs with you. I'm going to be doing we'll be doing all kinds of stuff, man. Releasing new music, and it'll all be there.
Okay. And last thing. So when it comes to the giveaway, I want to do a giveaway with you. Probably when this come out, I want to give away an Akai Mini MPK.
For sure.
Of course, they're going to have to follow both of us. We're going to put the description at the bottom. And like I said,
I'm also bringing value to the people.
Yeah. But we're going to talk more because I actually need to sit down with you to create an ebook for producers. You got to have your own course when it comes to Logic. You down with that, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, shoot. Well, thank you, Henry with the 3, for this time to talk. And we're going to see you in the near future. Follow his IG, all his social media. Get in contact with him if you need production, if you need mixing. And he does mastering also. So that's up in the air.
Right.
So
shout out Ozone.
Yeah, shout out Ozone. So from everybody at Rebel Ears, thank you for tuning in. And don't be scared to be a rebel.